106.5 FM, KCAA Loma Linda.
Welcome, guys. It's me, Damon Hart, Foxy Home Buyer, the Foxy Home Buyer, here with the real men of real estate. I am your host for today's episode, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to blow your mind today. Not me all by myself, but with my guest. Before we get into who he is and what he's doing and what he's been able to do, take a quick second out to just say thank you to the network and give you a place to be able to find us in the future. We're here on KCAA Radio, 1050 on the AM, 106.5 on the PM. Now, you guys know we're here on the radio, obviously, but also you can find us on Roku TV. You can find us on Amazon TV, as well as Android TV, iHeartRadio, you name it, Spotify, we're there. And under the Building Solid Foundations heading. What would be huge is we want to get feedback on how well we're doing and delivering value to you guys. So make sure to comment, like, subscribe, do everything that you possibly can to give us some feedback so we know who to bring back to you so you guys can enjoy it. But I know for a fact we got a great one today for you. So get ready. All right. So myself, being a real estate investor, I've been doing this a long time, and it's been rare for me to be able to see something that I feel like is kind of disruptive, new, and an idea that people really don't talk about that can really make a difference in how you buy real estate and create generational wealth. So that's what I did here today with our guest, and it's none other than my good buddy, Chris Nagel. How are you, brother?
Good. Honored and privileged to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yo, I couldn't resist because, the first time we met, we talked about what you did, and you just got the name of the business is amazing, BYOB, right? Like, just tell people really quickly before we get into just who you are and what you do. BYOB, how'd you come up with the name?
Yeah, so the name really came up. We came up with it because it's exactly what we do. We teach people how to take back control of their money by being their bank. Right. That's it. It's not complicated, and it's been around forever.
Right.
But the funniest thing is my past, but I'll just kind of give your audience a little bit about it. I'm an ex-Wall Street guy, recovering Wall Street guy, I like to say. I spent 16 years doing that, managing and just doing all the stuff that you do on Wall Street. But prior to that, I got a kind of interesting background, and that was a pro snowboarder. So I was and still today am just a snowboard kid. So I went from skateboarding and snowboarding into Wall Street. In Wall Street, I just learned all the traditional money stuff, but I'll never forget. When I got into real estate, which was 2006, I borrowed money from lenders. And
sure.
I was in Salt Lake City snowboarding, and I called one of the guys that I borrowed money from. He was a big real estate investor, had a TV show, and he took me out to lunch, and we went to Cheesecake Factory in Salt Lake City. And I just asked him, I just came out and said, "So Mike, how do you lend all this money?" And he says, "I lend from my bank." And I'm just like, "Of course you do. Of course you've got your own bank." I'm like, "Yeah,
right.
You don't have your own bank."
Yeah.
But and I said, "So why are we at Cheesecake Factory? Why aren't we at your bank?" And he said, No. I just have a banking system I set up. And we went into this, and he just starts explaining all the specifics about it. It's guaranteed. It pays dividends. It's tax-free. When I lend you money, I still earn interest and dividends, even though the money is in your hands, and you're paying me money a second time. And I'm like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
I'm a Wall Street guy. How is it that I don't know about what he's talking about? And then he tells me what it is. And I just hit the floor. I'm like, there's just no way. There's no way that up to that point, 14 years in Wall Street, that I didn't know about this. And that was the journey right there.
And that's kind of how I felt when I first saw you and I heard about it. And it was just like, come on, man. Like, okay, I've been doing this, since I'm 43 now. I've been doing real estate since I'm 22, 23, half my life almost. And I'm like, I've never heard anything like this. And then boom. Like you just put it in a way that it was really simple. And that's why I knew I had to have you as a guest on the show. So with that, before we get into exactly what the BYOB is and breaking down the steps, because we're going to do that today. Tell people about like your journey, because this is a unique one, man. You're not just some Wall Street guy. Just you're downplaying a little bit, but like you started out like you were really committed to the snowboarding thing.
That was my life, man. Yeah, I mean, so I grew up in a lower middle class family, raised by my mom, and she always taught me to be a dreamer. So I wanted to be a pro snowboarder. Now, all things be told, I'm from Buffalo, New York. Now, if nobody's been there, like we don't have mountains. We have a lot of snow.
I've been to Buffalo.
But yeah, we don't have mountains. So like when I came up with this idea and I told people, everybody said you're crazy. Yeah. But there was two guys, Shane and Blair. Blair is still a good friend of mine, and they were pro Burton riders, and they lived in Cali, but they came back to Buffalo, where they were from, to the resort where I rode. And I remember I was there. I was that kid hiding in the trees, watching them, and then I'd follow them down the hill. And I just saw these guys who came from where I'm at, who were mega stars, in the snowboarding world back then. And I said, if they can do it, I can do it. Yeah. And that's exactly what I did. Against all the odds. Everybody said I couldn't. Every weekend, me and my buddy Ben would get in my car or his car, and we'd drive to Vermont. We'd sleep in the car. Then we'd compete Saturday, sleep in somebody's couch or floor, compete Sunday, get back in the car and go home. I mean, that was just the commitment. That's what I had to do. So snowboarding led me down an interesting path, because being a pro snowboarder, you can't just have a regular job. So I actually started a clothing line called Fat Clothing Company, which then turned into a snowboard shop called Fat Man, P-H-A-T. And those businesses are still around. Like Fat Man, I sold it in 2010, but it still exists today.
I love it.
And I started that in 1994. I was literally in college, first year in college, and the only reason I was able to do it is my mom, because we didn't have any money. My mother put her house on the line so that I could get that loan. She collateralized the SBA-backed loan with the only thing she had in the world, which was her house, and that's how I got started.
With Fat. Okay, so I know mom gets taken care of on Mother's Day and every day, it sounds like.
Mom gets taken care of, yeah. But my mom's a simple woman. She still lives in that same house, 700 square foot, 2-bedroom house. So nothing's changed for Mom.
For sure. And one thing I've noticed with people that make really great things out of themselves and help people, they usually start from backgrounds where we didn't have much, right? I mean, I think I look at my mom. My mom's great, and she worked every single day, went to work every day for 30 years at the post office. And people say, your mom's amazing and this other stuff. But I think there's something to be said about just keeping it simple with your kids, to say, not only you can do it, which it sounds like your mom did, and then she also said, guess what? If you need help, I'm here to do it. And you saw her go bust her butt every day. So there was no excuse.
I think back to that moment, obviously I'm 17 years old. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, Mom, let's do this. But looking back, my 45-year-old self, I would have told my mom, don't lend that kid that money. You could lose everything.
You could lose it all.
She did it. I mean, that's just pure love, right? She just believed in me.
Yeah.
And, it was tough, man. I had days and months where I didn't know how I was going to pay that payment. But I always knew if I didn't make that payment, Mom lost her house.
Yeah.
So there was never, it was kind of like burning the boats. There was never turning around. There was never going back. You just pushed through no matter what it was. And that's how I started, man. I was 16, 17, straight on. And then the Wall Street thing happened during the .com crash. So I had a couple stores. I was highly leveraged. I was living the life. I was a pro snowboarder. I had my own retail shops, which was a lifestyle business. And the planes hit the towers. We all remember that moment. Well, I remember it vividly. I was driving to my brand new store, and what I didn't know was what came next, which was the recession. I'd never seen a recession at that point, and it crushed my business. So I needed a job. So I remember I put resumes out. My resume, just for the record, remember, I'm not like a highly educated person.
Right. Snowboarder.
Yeah.
Right.
That was it. I was fit on one page. My resume fit on one page. I'm a snowboarder. I have snowboard shops. That's it.
That's it.
And that's landed me in Wall Street. They liked fresh starters and they liked entrepreneurs.
Yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, if you're a fresh starter and want to be in and you need to get a job, go to Wall Street. That's the.
I don't know if it would be like that now.
Just want to make a connection. I didn't think it was gonna land, but anyway. All right, man. So so that brings us a little fast forward, and then you say, okay. After Wall Street, what happens? You decide. So,
during Wall Street, a lot was going on. I was doing the Wall Street job, and I saw an opportunity there. I was, they call this pond scum. Literally, it's no different than the movies. I just dialed and then passed the calls on to the guys in the offices, but I always watched the guys in those big offices, and I said, how do I have one of those? And they'd get there at like 8:39, they'd leave for 2 hours for lunch, they were gone by 5 o'clock. So I started getting there at 7, I worked through lunch, and I stayed till 8 or 9, where I went out and saw people, and I became one of the top advisors. So during that period, I was a rising star in that Wall Street area, that financial advisor arena. But what was still going on behind the scenes is I still had my stores. So I was still, literally, I'd put a suit on to go to Wall Street. I'd get out and I'd go to my store, and on weekends, and I'd have a beanie and a hoodie on. I mean, so I was literally living like two worlds.
Like a double life.
It was weird. It was really weird. In the beginning, it got so weird that I had to find suits that were made by one of the companies that did snowboard stuff called Volcom, just to make me feel like I was like
a little bit more
connected.
core.
And nobody could understand that until you're doing it. Like, I didn't feel myself in a suit. So, but when I put a Volcom suit on, I'm like, all right, I got this.
Yeah.
And that's how I bridged it mentally. But I was doing that. I was, snowboarding. I was skateboarding. And Wall Street treated me well. But I definitely leaned more into the Wall Street world. But then the next recession, which was, the Great Recession, 2008 hit, and I had just gotten into real estate. So I had done a couple flips in 2006 and 7, and I bought a strip mall that it was actually a dilapidated paint store, and that was going to be where I was going to move my newest store, because I didn't want to pay rent anymore.
Right.
I was just like, I'm going to build my own. And, you don't want to start a development project right before a recession kicks in,
you don't.
which is an interesting parallel for where we're at right now in the economic cycle.
Well, it's perfect that you said that, because I'd love to hear what you have to share with the audience here, obviously, and what your message is going to be, but also in this kind of time. So I think it'll be a great thing, man. I'm so stoked to have you here. Let's do this. I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to go out, and we'll come back here with Chris in a couple of minutes and let you know what we're going to do with him, and share a little bit more about the BYOB business, okay? And it's not what you think, so get ready.
Do you remember the power of dreaming? M. Teresa Lawrence helps us all reconnect with imagination through her renowned Leadership of Play coaching program. Schedule a session with Teresa on Instagram at Your Trueness to ignite creativity and pursue huge dreams once more. Don't let your spark fade. DM Teresa at Your Trueness today and reclaim the magic of dreaming.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services, including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing, and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
Tired of qualifying your leads and not getting the right clients for you? Join the finest women in real estate and learn how to attract the best clients and increase your referral network. Call now at 951-378-5316. 951-378-5316 and become one of the finest women in real estate.
Real Men of Real Estate.
Men of Real Estate radio show here on KCAA.
Boats, mortgages can be purchased.
All of us want to live in thriving communities.
Basically, go to the radio station, kcaaradio.com.
Okay, guys, we're back, and I'm here with Chris and BYOB. Okay, so for anyone first time hearing this, what is it? What do you do?
Be your own bank. So it's very simple. It's a concept that's been around for a long time called the infinite banking concept. And it's simple. It's taking back the banking functions in your life. Let me just give you the simplest thing. So everybody that's listening to this buys cars, and they buy cars one of 4 different ways.
Okay.
You either pay cash for the car, which a lot of people don't like to do because then they lose the earning potential on the money they paid for the car and the car depreciates. You could finance the car. You make monthly payments, principal and interest to somebody else's bank. You can lease the car, which you just make payments and then you got to give the car back. I never understand that one. Or you could steal the car. But hopefully none of the listeners are stealing cars. There's only 4 ways you can get a car. So imagine you want to become the bank and you want to eliminate using traditional banks. So there's one downside. The first thing you'd have to do is capitalize your bank. There's not a bank out there that can operate with no capital. So the first thing you'd have to do is you'd have to save up and capitalize your bank, which we'll cover that in a bit. But once you capitalize the bank, let's take the combination of 2 of those ways. The cash, you could pay cash for it, but also let's mix in the financing. Because remember, you want to be the bank, so you want to just mimic what a bank does. So what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to tell you where we got to make one change, and I'm going to get to that, but I want to get to the process first.
Please.
Because just so the audience knows, we got to change where our money goes first. If you're going to be the bank, you can't keep your money sitting in traditional banks because they control your money. So we got to put ourselves back in control. So there's a place where the wealthiest individuals throughout history have always put their money, and it's not a bank. So
mattress, right?
It's not the mattress either, but we'll get there.
Dang it.
We'll get there. So you change where your money goes first.
Yeah.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to take money from our banking system, from this vehicle where we put our money, and we're then going to pay cash for the car. So think of this as a circle. I want everybody listening to think of a circle, right? That's all we're going to do. Our money starts on the left side, which is not in a bank. It's in your bank. We're going to move the money over to the right side, which is where we're going to buy the car. I call that the opportunity zone. So we take a loan from our bank, because isn't that how you'd buy a car? You'd take a loan from a traditional bank?
Yeah.
So if you own your own bank, you would take a loan from your bank. You'd never steal from your bank because your bank would go out of business. So we take a loan and then we buy the car. And then all we do is we just make monthly payments back to our bank the same way you'd pay somebody else's bank. And the nice thing is that the monthly payments, you're in control of what they are. You can pick and choose the terms. Like when I do it, like I buy a lot of cars using my bank. I just go into the dealership and I ask them, how much would this car be monthly if I wanted to do a 5-year loan? And they give me a monthly payment. Guess what that number is? That's how much I'm going to pay my bank. Why reinvent the wheel, right? Just whatever they're going to charge me, I'm going to pay my bank. So then I make monthly payments for that vehicle that I just paid cash for, and I'm going to take the monthly payments and I'm going to put them back in my banking system.
In your bank.
I just completed a circle. I started money in my bank, okay, which is not a bank. I'll tell you in one sec. We move it over to the right side, which is where we pay cash for the car, but we did it with a loan from our bank. Yeah. We make monthly payments back to our bank.
So Chris, here's the thing that I think I'm a little lost, because even though I kind of understand the concept, I feel like the moving parts is where I get lost, because I'm a visual person, right?
Yeah.
I have to actually see it. So if I talk through it, the first part is, where the heck do I even, like,
should we just tell them what? Yeah, because there's
like, where do I even start? Like, number one, why would I even want to start my own bank?
Okay,
like, let's start there.
Let's start there. So remember I started off talking about Mike, that real estate investor that lent me money. He started saying, I lend from my private bank. So let's go
100%.
back to that real quick. We'll transition. So when I asked him what his private bank does, he started rattling them off. So here's the reasons why you'd want this. Guaranteed interest for the rest of his life. Okay. So he gets a guaranteed interest rate that never changes for the rest of his life. Every year, he gets dividends, okay, based on the profitability of the place where he puts his money. Okay. Then he also has the ability to use that money anytime he wants. So he can take that money out anytime without any questions.
Wow.
Okay. Not only that, when he takes the money out, he's not even taking his money. Okay. He's taking somebody else's money and he's using somebody else's money, but his money stays in the account, earning guaranteed interest plus dividends. If something should ever happen to him and he dies, that money's leveraged and paid to somebody else in a death benefit. So first key when I said death benefit. And the other thing too is it's protected against judgments and liens in most states in the United States. So when I then heard all this, I'm just like, that's wild. What is this place? Because in my mind as an advisor, I'm trying to figure out what Mike is putting his money in. And then he tells me, Chris, it's a specially designed whole life insurance policy from a mutually owned company that pays dividends. That silence right there. I tried giving that silence. Yeah. That's how I was, because I knew about whole life and I knew it was one of the worst places you could put money. It's expensive, high commissions for the agents. I'm like, why in the world would Mike why would you put money in a whole life? But see, here's the thing. Will Rogers has a quote and he said, the biggest problem in America is not what people don't know. The biggest problem is what people think that they know that just ain't so. So I'm sitting here at Cheesecake Factory with this really superstar investor who lends me money, and he just told me where he puts his money.
Right.
And now I'm questioning that, and I'm saying, oh, there's no way it does that. but it does. So what we're talking about here, the vehicle where your money goes, that one change is a specially designed whole life insurance policy. But if you know whole life or you know life insurance, what you first have to do is forget everything you know about life insurance, because this is not designed the same way you've been sold life insurance. It's designed backwards and upside down. So now what we're going to do is we're going to design a whole life for banking, which means we're going to put the lowest death benefit and shove the most amount of money into it.
Okay.
Now, the insurance companies, this is what people don't know. So this is the trick. Remember I mentioned earlier, Mike could take money from his specially designed whole life.
Okay.
He could take a loan from the insurance company, but his money never left the account.
Okay.
So we all know what compound interest is.
Of course.
Albert Einstein said it was the eighth wonder of the world, the most powerful thing in finance. You earn compound interest, but uninterrupted. Your money never leaves your account. It just serves as collateral for the insurance company to loan you part of your death benefit while you're alive. That's all it is. The insurance company is letting you use your death benefit while you're living in the form of a loan, and they do charge you interest, so we'll cover the interest, but they continue to pay you interest and dividends on the money. So how does a bank make money? Let's go back to a traditional bank.
I would say they make money off interest, right? I mean, off interest off of car loans, credit cards, fees.
How much, right now, you have money that you put in traditional banks. What's your bank pay you in interest?
Pay me in interest?
Can we just say 1%? And
it's negligible. Maybe
yeah.
2 less. I don't put it this way. I don't even pay attention because I don't even. It's not even worth me paying attention how much I'm getting in bank interest.
So let's just say you found a
asking.
really good bank, traditional bank that paid you 4%. You'd be excited, right?
4%?
Yeah,
it'd be more. Yes, it'd be more than what I'm getting now.
So the bank pays you 4% on your money that you leave in the bank, and you'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
But then when you need to take out a car loan, how much are car loans right now? 7, 8%? So let's just say it's 8% for a used car loan. In the middle is the magic word, and that's what we're going to talk about. Be your own bank, BYOB, is all about a spread. The bank pays you 4 and they charge you 8. What'd they make in the middle? A spread. So now let's go back to the specially designed whole life. Specially designed whole life pays you guaranteed interest plus a dividend. By today's standards, 2023, you're making between 5.2 and 6%, depending on what company we put you at. To borrow your death benefit, the insurance company charges you a smidgen under 5%, but let's just call it 5 for the sake of numbers.
Okay.
So if you're making 6 and you're paying 5, what are you making?
Difference.
You're making a spread, right? Yeah. But here's the thing. The bank, when they make a spread, it's a flat spread across the board, okay? But when you have your money earning compound interest, next year, your spread goes up because remember, now you're earning interest on interest. Next year, it grows and it grows. And every year that it grows, you're making a bigger spread because the amount it costs to borrow your death benefit doesn't change and the amount you're earning doesn't change, but you're compounding and you're only paying simple interest. So the simplest thing to understand about being your own bank, it's all about the spread.
Yeah. So it's the difference between the two. But I will say this. I get the concept or starting to get the concept a little bit more. But I think what I'm stuck with is like in the beginning, when I'm like, okay, I want to get my own bank. How do I even do that? Like, you know, that part to me is a little cloudy because I get it. There's life insurance. Well, how it's life insurance that is designed to help me be a bank. Well, first question I would have is like, how the heck is that even legal? Like, did you have that same feeling when you met with your guy out in Salt Lake?
Yeah, I was confused.
Like, okay, so like that's where I'm. Okay, first, how is this even possible? And then why don't more people use this type of vehicle? Why don't people use it?
2 great questions. And why people don't, it's not why they don't use it, it's why they don't know about it. It's the most important thing. And
Let's
we'll get
start
to that.
there.
Well, all right. So I was an advisor, right?
Yeah.
If I sold you a whole life insurance policy, when I was an advisor, I sold you a regular whole life. Like that's all I knew that there was. And in the audience, that's all they know about is a regular whole life.
Yep.
So if I sold you a regular whole life, let's just say your premium was $10,000 for that whole life per year. Okay. How much do you think I made?
On the 10,000? I guess maybe 20%, two grand.
55%.
50. That's like
so a regular whole life.
Half.
So you hear about it. This is why people don't like whole life because they think that the commission is high, and it is on a regular whole life.
Wow.
In IULs, I don't even want to go there. That's like 120% of premium that you make on those. But let's get back to whole life. A traditional whole life that I sold when I was an advisor, that every agent out there that would sell you, they're going to make a minimum of 55% of the premium. Wow. That's a good day in the office. But that's exactly why the clients have zero cash value year one and zero cash value year two.
Yeah.
So now that we understand why a regular whole life is a thing that people want, the agents and advisors want to sell, now let me tell you what we have to do to design these. Remember, I keep saying specially designed.
Yes.
We have to design it with the lowest death benefit possible and the highest amount that the IRS will allow us to put in. Totally legal. There's nothing illegal. But to do that, I have to reduce my commission by 60 to 90%. So go back to your brother-in-law that wants to sell you the whole life and say, hey, listen, I'll do this whole life, but I want you to design it so I can use it for banking so that I have access to my cash immediately in the first 30 days. First, they'll tell you can't.
Yeah.
And then you say, I know you can. You just have to reduce your commission 60 to 90%. Mum is the word. End of story.
Crickets.
So why don't people know about this? Because find an advisor that wants to give up 60 to 90% of their commission so you have 60 to 90% more money. So right now, that's why people don't know about it.
Okay, I follow that. There's no incentive, you're saying.
No,
Yeah.
well, the incentive is you have to, like the way we do it is we do volume. Okay. So it's all about volume, solving a lot of people's problems. But let's go back to the other thing where you mentioned, you said, is this legal? It's been legal forever. But where did it start? Well, you have to go back to the origins of where this concept started using whole life for banking.
Now I get that. I know there's a big backstory to that. But before I jump into that backstory, what I want to do real quick is take a quick break so that we can get back, because I know there's some magic. I know my hamster reel's going. So let's take a break with Chris and we'll be right back.
Do you remember the power of dreaming? M. Teresa Lawrence helps us all reconnect with imagination through her renowned Leadership of Play coaching program. Schedule a session with Teresa on Instagram at Your Trueness to ignite creativity and pursue huge dreams once more. Don't let your spark fade. DM Teresa at Your Trueness today and reclaim the magic of dreaming.
FireUp Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. FireUp Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. FireUp Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
Tired of qualifying your leads and not getting the right clients for you? Join the finest women in real estate and learn how to attract the best clients and increase your referral network. Call now at 951-378-5316. 951-378-5316 and become one of the finest women in real estate.
Real Men of Real Estate.
Men of Real Estate radio show here on KCAA.
Boats, mortgages can be purchased.
All of us want to live in thriving communities.
Basically, go to the radio station kcaaradio.com.
Okay, welcome back. So Chris, get me right back into it, man. So it's now we got to the part where, okay, why they wouldn't sell it, why they don't sell it at all, why my uncle, my cousin or brother wouldn't sell it. So what happens next?
So, I mean, the next thing we got to understand is everything we're talking about here, like what we just talked about was the product, the machine where we put our money. We really got to get back to the process because that's how you make the money. That's how you're really making the spread and everything else. But you asked about the origins, like where did this start? Well, the wealthiest families in history have started this and used this. The Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the J.P. Morgans, the Stanleys, they were all bankers back in their day and they had lots of money. They didn't trust banks. I mean, look at history. Banks have not been the most stable financial institutions out there. I mean, even right now. So they had to find a better place to store their capital and their money. And where they landed is the most stable financial institutions, and that's life insurance companies. Always has been, always will be. But life insurance companies aren't deposit institutions. So they had to figure a way using an existing, product that the insurance companies had to do this. And that's where it all started. There's lots of research you can do, but I mean, that's the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds. You can look at McDonald's Okay, Walt Disney, both of those used loans. Pampered Chef, you could look at the sitting president, love him or hate him, like he funds his campaigns partly with his policies. All public knowledge, people can look it up. So if all the wealthiest people have used this, why are we not? Why aren't we taught this? But I just told you that because there's no financial incentive for the advisors and the agents who could bring this to you, who are licensed to do this, to want to do this.
Wow.
But let's get back to the process. So earlier, I intentionally confused you and your audience. And you didn't know I was intentionally trying to confuse you with the car example, but I truly was. So let's just go back to that car, because we all know how we buy cars. Remember, we can pay cash, finance, lease, or steal the car.
Right.
But what we're going to do now is we're going to change one thing. And now that's where our savings goes first. Because if you're going to pay cash for a car, you would save the money up in a traditional bank. Just change where that savings goes. Put it into a specially designed whole life that we would design for you to do this. Then what we're going to do is we're then going to, when we have enough, and some people just dump all the money in because they're like buying a car and they're like, I got the 50 grand in my bank.
Sure.
Just shift it right over. Now we're going to take a loan from the insurance company. Remember, the insurance company is just giving you your death benefit early. So I got 50 grand. We're just going to do a $50,000 car here. And I pay cash for the car at the dealership down this next level down.
Sure.
The car dealership figured out what that monthly payment would have been. Now, because I'm taking a loan from my banking system, because that's what we're calling this, and I'm going to just pay my banking system back the same amount. So if a $50,000 car is, let's just say $1,000 a month, principal and interest, I'm just going to pay my policy back $1,000. I took the loan from the death benefit, okay, for 50 grand.
Right.
So they gave me $50,000 of my death benefit, but my 50 grand that I put in the policy, how much is in my policy?
Still 50
grand.
Yeah.
Earning guaranteed interest plus dividends, which is more than what they charge me to borrow my death benefit. I make a spread. So I'm making money once before I even get started. But then, because I have a banking system, I'm not going to steal from my bank. So whatever the car dealership would charge me for the car, $1,000 a month in this example, I'm just going to pay my policy back $1,000 a month. Now, here's where it gets interesting. There's not a car loan anyone ever buys that doesn't have interest associated with it.
100%.
So I just made money twice instead of once, doing the same thing everybody does with buying cars. But here's the cool part. If I just change and do that, I get all the money back for every single car I'll ever buy, drive, and own, because that $1,000 a month, as it accumulates back in my policy, I get all the money back for the car. So then the car is basically free, not free because you had to pay for the car, but you paid yourself.
You paid yourself, yeah.
And you made money twice doing it. And every $1,000 payment you made back to your policy, that $1,000 was available as soon as the check cleared. Try going down buy one of these cars here, and then when you make your first monthly payment, go back to the dealership and say, hey guys, I screwed up. I kind of need that $1,000 back, and I have it. They'd laugh you out of the place. But when you are the bank and you're in control of your money and it's your system, all the money's back in your control, and you can reuse it.
I've tried that in the past, and you're right, it didn't work. I tried to ask them I even tried to get the car back one time. I was like, this is not the car that you told me. It's not that nice. So, okay, but it's good. So, I mean, look, man, this thing is like, I told people that were listening, this is probably not going to disappoint, and I don't think it has. You have this thing that is like magic that you do for people and what you've been able to create. What type of things are people buying with their own bank? Start me there. What are people buying?
What do you spend money on? I mean, it could be vacation.
I don't spend much money, Chris. My wife spends most of the money.
Well, a lot of people are spending money if you look at statistics. Because credit card debt is at an all-time high.
For sure.
So let's start there. You want to become wealthy. Everybody wants to be rich and wealthy.
100%.
The fastest way to wealth is through your own debts and expenses. So now we've already gone through what the process is. We've talked about the machine that we're using, especially designed whole life. Now let's just do debt.
Yeah.
So right now everybody makes monthly payments to credit cards, and they all try to pay them off.
Right.
So now what we're going to do, the money that you want to pay off your credit cards with, we're going to shift it over to the whole life, and all we're going to do is either quarterly, monthly, annually, however you do it. We're going to take loans from the policy, and we're going to pay down your credit card debt from lowest balance to highest balance. That's the snowball. I didn't come up with that. Okay. So we want to pay the lowest credit card off, no matter if it's the lowest interest rate, doesn't matter. Think about it this way. I put money into a savings account today. I just changed where my savings account money goes, and I put it into the policy.
Right.
I have a credit card over here that's charging me, let's just say 15% interest. I take a loan from my policy. I pay the credit card off. I don't owe the credit card money anymore. But I was used to making, let's just call it a $100 a month payment, which was 15% interest. All I do is I change the name on that $100 check, and instead of writing Visa, I write Chris Noggle, and then that check goes back to my policy. How much money did I make? I took back, I recycled and recaptured 15% because that's the amount I was giving away. Plus, I made the spread on the policy.
Yeah.
And I just keep doing that over and over, and I pay off debt. But, you know, this is a real estate show, and I do a lot of real estate. But a very wise man that we both know well many years ago said to me, he said, Chris, the ultimate in real estate is being the bank. But I had no idea what that meant. All he meant is what I teach today. So today, I don't buy as much real estate anymore. I've done 274 flips in my time, and that's enough for me for right now.
Amen.
But I love real estate. So when somebody needs money, what I do is I take a loan from my policy and I lend them money, and I charge 12 to 15% depending on the deal, and then they pay me interest. And guess where my interest payments go? Not to somebody else's bank. It goes back to my bank. But I make money twice when every other private lender makes money once. You see, this is what Mike, that big investor, knew. He knew how to make his money work for him twice as hard as I did by changing just one thing, and that was where his money went. So what can you use it for? What can't you use it for? You want to fund your vacations using your policy? Great. There's just rules. You never want to steal from your bank. So a lot of people would abuse this because they would put money in the policy, take the loans against their death benefit, and never pay their policy back because they're like, oh, it's my money in the beginning. Then you can't be your own bank because your bank's gonna go out of business. So you can't own any business and steal from your business day in and day out and expect your business to stay in business.
Stay in business.
Simple principles.
Okay. Well, I follow that, and you did a great job of breaking it down. So, you said something that struck. You said the ultimate thing about real estate is to be in the bank at one point because that's where you're going to get the most leverage, right? In getting to earning and potential there. I guess over the years, teaching this the way that you have, and you've seen people, where are people seeing the most success at being their own bank?
The cars is the biggest thing because it's the masses, right?
Okay.
Everybody needs a car, but real estate is an area I've really focused in on, and businesses. Like I work with a lot of businesses
100%.
that buy equipment.
Yeah.
So instead of financing equipment or leasing equipment from some leasing or some bank, what we do is we just change it over here and we put their money. Most of them have the capital. It's just sitting in their corporate accounts. We change where their money goes first, and we finance all their equipment. We make payments for their equipment, but the payments go back to their banking system. So they get all the money back for every piece of equipment that they buy. I don't care if it's landscapers. We work with companies that do huge pieces of equipment in oil, and real estate developers are probably my best clients because they're constantly using capital.
Right.
They're always buying more real estate.
Right.
So they just change where their money went first, and then they just buy real estate, and then they pay their policy back, and then they redeploy it, and they keep doing that.
Yeah.
You know, I just prefer to lend because I've been on both sides, and, you know, I had a lot of rentals and I had a lot of flips, and it's just a lot of work. Today, I own nothing, but I control every deal I lend on because I'm in a first lien position on every deal, just like good old banks are. I mean, I didn't create this. I just copied what the banks do every day.
Right.
But I just changed a few little things and where the money goes.
Right. And that's
everything.
That's
I mean,
everything.
if you understand compound interest, you would understand like how much money anybody doing this, how much money they make simply because of the compound interest is staggering.
Yeah. So what's the barrier? What I'm asking is, if I'm sitting at home and I'm like, okay, that all sounds good. I want to be the bank. Cool. Like, how hard is it for me to set up a bank?
It's not hard at all.
Okay. So when
there are some people that this doesn't work for, though.
Okay. So let's start there because
I like hitting the bad things.
Yeah. I think that's most people. Most people's mind they're going to go to, that sounds great, but that's not for me. So why don't we start with those? Who does this not work for?
Yeah, because I've determined who is not my client, so I knew who my client was. Okay. So my client is not the person that works with, someone like a Ramsey that is living paycheck to paycheck. My client is somebody that's already saving money, somebody that's already got some capital that they're putting away, because you can't create your own banking system if all your money is coming in and going back out the door to that. So that's not my client. Another person that's not my client is the person that has money in the bank, but at the end of the year, every year, they go in and they empty their bank account and they take it all out just to say that they can. I know that sounds silly, but literally, like, the only downside to this is when in the first year, maybe 2 years, the money you put into the policy, you're not going to have access to 100% of the money you put in.
About how much would you
80,
get?
90%.
That's still not bad.
I know, but I'm just telling you who is not my client. There are those people out there that say, I can put my money in the bank and I can take all my money out. And I say, oh, you must be one of those that goes into the bank at December 30th of every year, you take all the money out, they give you your dum-dum sucker, and you're thrilled. And then January 1st, you come back and you put all your money back in the bank. And you said, see, I told you, Chris, I could do that.
Well, who's doing that? Are they?
I'm just joking.
Are they
I don't
dancing?
think.
Are they dancing with the money?
I don't know. That's
Okay.
listen. We have thousands of clients, and that's the number one thing people say. Well, I don't know because I don't have access to all my money.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, so I just joke around with that.
Okay, I was wondering if they were just.
Darn well there's people that
there's some dancers for sure.
There's some dancers
with their own banks. Okay, so look, I am blown away. I hope that the people here that are listening are too. But we're gonna help round everything out here. So I'm gonna take a quick break right now. We're gonna go to a quick pause, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna get the finest points that Chris can give you and how to get your own bank started. Stay tuned.
Hello, welcome to Fire Up Connect. Are you a small business owner? Do you lack the resources to manage your business? Is visibility and brand awareness a top priority for you? Fire Up Connect is a community of small business owners. We help our members find the right connections and the right resources to help them be successful. This isn't your typical business networking group. Members of Fire Up Connect are innovative, driven, and all about building long-lasting relationships. We work to identify your goals and understand what it is you do and how we can help you brand yourself and your business. Fire Up Connect is about creating business opportunities, community projects, educational sessions, and live seminars to help implement effective marketing programs for our members. Fire Up Connect helps members gain validation in their businesses, learn what challenges similar business leaders are facing, and access to subject matter experts on how to overcome these challenges. Fire Up Connect offers opportunities for organic exposure through our many marketing events, programs, and projects. There are 4 colors that make up Fire Up Connect. Yellow represents the back office and services available to Fire Up Connect members. Red represents Fire Up Connect's marketing and advertising resources, such as TV shows, radio, magazine book publication, and movie projects. Green represents Fire Up Connect's referral system, tracking incentives, and blue represents Fire Up Connect's donation, fundraising, and scholarship programs. Fire Up Connect members have access to monthly business sessions, price discounts on affiliated companies, and all Fire Up Connect programs, book publications, published articles for your business, access to Fire Up Connect scheduled webinar events, a photo shoot session, and a video production. Join us for our annual Fire Up Live seminars and gain valuable connections in the Fire Up community and boost your business. We believe in your business. We believe in what you do. At Fire Up Connect, we believe in you. Join us for our annual Fire Up Live seminars to gain, discover, and get fired up.
Do you remember the power of dreaming? M. Teresa Lawrence helps us all reconnect with imagination through her renowned Leadership of Play coaching program. Schedule a session with Teresa on Instagram at Your Trueness to ignite creativity and pursue huge dreams once more. Don't let your spark fade. DM Teresa at Your Trueness today and reclaim the magic of dreaming.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
Tired of qualifying your leads and not getting the right clients for you? Join the finest women in real estate and learn how to attract the best clients and increase your referral network. Call now at 951-378-5316. 951-378-5316 and become one of the finest women in real estate.
Real Men of Real Estate.
Men of Real Estate radio show here on KCAA.
Boats, mortgages can be purchased.
All of us want to live in thriving communities.
Basically, go to the radio station kcaaradio.com.
All right, welcome back. So, Chris, it's been a ride, man. How I'm listening at home. How can I get started with my own bank? Put it simple, like I'm a fifth grader. Make it easy for me.
So first thing you do, like I hope these, most of the folks have a budget and they know how much money they're saving now.
Yeah.
Most people do. You're putting X amount of dollars into a 401k, you're putting it into a savings account. Maybe you got a brokerage account. Let's just change where some of that money goes first.
Okay.
So the first thing you got to establish is how much do you want the ability to save? There's going to be some people that are going to say, I want to do, I can only do 500 a month. I can only do 300 a month. So the minimum is 10 times your age. So I'm 45 years old.
Okay.
So my minimum would be 450 a month, period. So just add a zero behind your age, and that's the minimum to do this. But then there's people that we work with that put millions of dollars in. So the first thing you got to establish is how much money do you want the ability to save?
Sure.
And then some people are like, well, I've got all this money sitting in a bank. I want to do this now. Great. We can dump that money into the policy to front load it and get it rolling. But really, the thing people have to understand is if you're going to get started with this, you have to want to take back control of your money, which means there's a little bit of work to that. You're going to have to then use your banking system to buy the things that you would normally buy using the traditional bank's money.
Give me an
I don't care if it's
example.
Cars like we talked about.
Yeah.
Maybe you've got a bunch of debt that you want to pay off. This is the fastest way to pay off debt. And I have a video that will give the audience that they can watch. It shows how we paid off $478,000 in debt for a chiropractor in 6.5 years when it would have taken him 19 years to do it the way he was doing it. And all he did is change where his money went. That's how powerful compound interest is.
Love it.
So people just have to figure out how much do I want to save? Okay, what do I want to do with this money? Because you don't just put your money in the policy and leave it there. Like that's not how we do this. It's the process. Once the money goes to the policy, we got to figure out how that money is going to go out and work for you. See, most of us have only been taught how to work for money, trade hours for dollars.
100%.
That's not the way to wealth. The way to wealth is have your money work for you. I literally showed everybody or told everybody on here how to make their money work for them for the rest of their life without them having to do anything but change where it goes. But we then have to deploy that money. So real estate, this is a real estate show. So we're buying real estate. So great. Either you're buying real estate, you're renovating houses, it all takes capital, and you're using someone's money to do it. If you're using money from a bank account, change where that money goes first. If you're using somebody else's money, let's take back control of that and start using our own money. For me, I lend money out on real estate. That's just what I do. So that's how you do it. And then, people are like, yeah, I get all that. Like, how do I do it? Well, you first watch a video. Okay, we've made a 90-minute video. It's the same video I had to watch when I started. So everybody that would want to learn this, there's a video which gives all the visuals, right? Because we're just talking.
Yes.
People get lost.
Yep.
You need to see the video because it visually shows you every piece of how this works. You watch the video, and then after that, just get a hold of us, and we'll set it up for you and build it the right way.
Okay. So I go on, I watch the video,
Mm-hmm.
I get a better understanding, and I'm like, okay, I want to take the next step. Then what happens? I call somebody. Okay.
Right after you're done watching the video,
right.
So you have to get at least halfway through, but please watch all of it, and then you'll be able to book a call with me and my team. Okay. And then we'll basically find out we'll walk you through, what are we going to use this for? What are the goals? How do we want your money to work for you? We're going to go through all that, and then we're going to build the policy around it. There's not just one policy design.
Okay.
We have to design it around the client's needs and goals. So it's not like when somebody gets on the call with us, we're like, okay, it's going to be this much, because that's how they're used to life insurance.
Yeah.
They tell us how much they want to put in. You want to put $500 a month in? Great. You want to put $10,000 a year in? Great. You want to put $1 million a year in? Great. We're going to build it to your specifications. Yeah. And then we're going to figure out, okay, if you wanted to put $100,000 a year into this, what would be a bad year? What's the minimum amount you'd be comfortable? So we're going to build a minimum and a maximum because there are IRS rules that we have to follow. So someone might say, I want to put $100,000 in, but my minimum would be $20,000.
Sure.
Worst case scenario. We'll build it, a min and a max. And then giddy up and go, and then we just get your money working for you. We do it all for the client. So.
Boom. Just that simple.
It really is that simple. People make it overly complicated. There's nothing hard about this.
Well, I tell you what, with a name like Build Your Own Bank, I don't see how we could, man. It's so great having you on, brother. It's a pleasure. You definitely delivered, and I'm glad you were able to make it. So I appreciate you very much.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. So look, we just talked a little bit about people getting in touch with you. How can listeners get in touch with you and book that, get access to that video?
I can't believe I left that out. It's just Chris Naugle, so NAUGLE.com. Right. As soon as you go to my website, a 90-minute video will pop up. Watch the video, book a call. Some people like to get more information than that. I have hundreds, about 850 videos on my YouTube channel and all my social media. It's at the Chris Naugle, and that, again, is NAUGLE.
Okay, and it's chrisnaugle.com.
Yep.
Yeah? All
Very
right, can't
easy.
miss it. Fantastic. All right. So with that being said, on behalf of Chris and myself and the real men of real estate, because this is the real estate show, I want to say thank you again to you as the listener and the viewer and joining us today. We hope that we delivered tremendous value to you because I know you didn't. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've heard of something like this, but not in this way. And I know it's something that could definitely help you on your real estate journey and get you that much closer to what real estate really is. And it's the vehicle to help you drive what it is that you want to, your wealth goals are here, here in the U.S. and beyond. So with that being said, I want to say thank you to KCAA on AM. We're at 1050 AM and 106.5 PM. I want to say thank you for all the listeners out there in the greater Los Angeles area. Also to our Foxy family, foxyhomebuyer.com. And if you want to repeat and see us here on YouTube, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Spotify, listening to us, iHeartRadio, it's all there under the Building Solid Foundations platform. And we're going to look forward to seeing you there, and make sure that you comment so that we can get more killer content like this out to you. So in the meantime, I'm going to sign off here on behalf of Chris and myself and the show, and let you know what you got to do till the next time. That's right. Keep it foxy. Bye for now, guys.
Get all the facts, all you need to know on KC.